What's up, guys? I'm Dimitri with HardwareCanucks. Right now we're at the Cooler Master Suite where a lot of products are shown. We have like over 30 launches here. Are you kidding me? But a lot of conceptual products launches as well. On my left, there's this gigantic case, which is used by Cooler Master engineers to see what works, see what doesn't. They're really trying to target that modular aspect, and they are taking those concepts, and eventually they move on over to this line behind me.
HardwareCanucks is at another fantastic Computex show, all thanks to NVIDIA, Fantex, NCIX, and MSI.
The MasterCase Maker 7 is that case right there. It's pretty awesome. Again, it's a conceptual presentation of what is available. Lots of modular aspects where with the rotatable motherboard, we can actually assemble the motherboard tray so that if you're using an ITX, micro ATX, or an ATX, whatever, everything will be compatible. But the new case that will actually be released is the MasterCase3. The MasterCase3 is a $99 product. It is targeting the micro ATX market, which is quite nice. It's a little bit smaller than the Maker 5, but not by much. And the $99 price point includes the top radiator bracket. It has a side panel window. It has additional extra panels for silence, and unfortunately only one SSD location in the back. There are a few implementations and improvements they're rolling out with this case, like a removable floor for the power supply chamber. So if you want to expand the interior, you can do that, no problem. And we also have a modular M-port rail, which is where you install all the hard drives. That can be placed in two positions, either to hide some cables or for actual functionality with installation of drives onto it. These two upgrades will be rolled out into the MasterCase 5 eventually at Computex 2017 for the MasterCase 5. The Maker 5 also receives a new addition, the Maker 5T. T stands for, well, they said turbo mode, which basically transforms the case into a little bit more a turbo looking thing with a handle. So that's a board from the Trooper or the Striker, and a new dual tone on the inside, which looks fantastic. I love the darker red. And people will also be able to upgrade the handle, buy the handle separately and put it on their MasterMaker 5. They also introduced a new series, the MasterBox series. The MasterBox 5 is behind me. They're telling us that the MasterBox 3 and potentially 7 in the pipeline, which is a little more standard and more simple version. Variation has less features than the MasterCases series, but it's going to be targeted the $79 or $69 price point and up, and also have this the MasterBox 5T. Again, the turbo case with the little panels here and a little more aggressive look. Two new cooler products that I found interesting was the new fan design. So it has a memory of maximum RPM that it has to maintain. So if a fan is placed against a solid surface on a standard fan, it would slow down because there's resistance on there. But for this one, it's supposed to maintain the maximum RPM, which you can actually change. So that's awesome if you want to maintain a certain sound level. And the second product is this guy. Still unannounced, still in production. It's combining the technologies from the Master Liquid Pro and their Airflow series. So this is very interesting because it has sort of water cooling and airflow elements built in. It's fairly compact, perhaps going to be called the Master Hybrid Liquid or something like that. Mounts like this, and right now the fans are facing each other, so don't get confused about air blowing into the same spot. The cool thing is, because it can rotate, it can either stand like this for airflow going in a standard direction. I would say this is perfect probably for HTPCs, for something small where you can still achieve better cooling performance versus an 120 AIO, but in a sort of, I would say, smaller compact footprint, especially when this is above the motherboard. That is it for the Cooler Master booth. I'm really looking forward to reviewing the MasterCase 3. Looks like a promising enclosure. Lots of improvements going on. Can't wait for those improvements to move on to the MasterCase 5. Let us know what you think about the products that we talked about.